Level up your success with the ICABA World Network, where accomplished Black professionals and entrepreneurs have created a thriving global ecosystem built from valuable connections and impactful collaborations. Be a part of a trusted network that uplifts, inspires, and enhances your success. Join like-minded and leading Black professionals to foster meaningful relationships, unlock opportunities, and access the resources you need to thrive in your career, business, and life. Go to ICABAWorldNetwork.com and join today.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the October 27th edition of Black Professionals Month. We've got 4 more days to go. And before we get there, and I need this as much as anybody after, the past 26, 27 days of holding down Black Professionals Month, I've got to learn to breathe. I got to be mindful. So today we've got a couple of experts who are going to help us to keep our lids together so that we don't blow our top and we have equilibrium, clarity of thought, and so on and so forth. But we are here in general to celebrate Black professional excellence. We're here to convene, collaborate, connect, collaborate, and build a trusted community of Black professionals worldwide. And so as we step up, stand out, and break out into higher roles of leadership and sustain wealth, we're going to do it together. All right, but we know that you're fired up because that's the reason why you're here. And we are going to link arms and we're going to put our heads together and share in the objectives of how we all as Black professionals can reach higher roles of leadership and generate sustained wealth. And to help us do that today is going to be Christina Pierce and Abdul Muhammad. And so I am so excited to have the two of them here. And both of them are going to talk about a subject that is absolutely critical because we spend a lot of time, if you will, using our saw, but we don't probably spend nearly enough time sharpening our saw. And so if you don't know what I'm talking about, I think that probably before this hour is over, you will know what I'm talking about. So Abdul Muhammad II brings over 20 years of experience as a brand growth strategist, digital marketer, executive coach, speaker, and mindful practitioner. As MDM Ventures founder and chief growth officer, he specializes in business growth. MDM's people, brand, and technology focuses on business from 3 million up to 31 million, dedicated to social impact within the health and wellness, travel and tourism, real estate, and technology industries. Previously as partner and chief digital officer for RBB Communications and director of social marketing for Zimmerman Advertising, Abdul directed clients for Apple Leisure Group, Brown & Brown Insurance, DHL Express, Facebook, White Castle, Pep Boys, Saks Fifth Avenue, and Party City. His team continually produced nationally recognized, award-winning digital marketing campaigns. For nearly 30 years, Abdul has championed the Quality Life Center of Southwest Florida, an organization that provides at-risk children with the tools they need to make a difference in arts, character, and education, with new and expanded programs for community engagement, including mental health and wellness, entrepreneurship, and workforce development. That makes up the 3 tiers of QLC's mission. Over the last decade, Abdul intertwined his dedication to mindset, community, and consciousness into his daily lifestyle. As a certified breath work coach, looking forward to hearing more about that, a martial artist and yogi, he delivers a unique mind development mastery practice that provides a transformative lifestyle resource for those seeking personal and professional growth via mindfulness. So let's go in, let out, and create. And I'm going to ask Abdul to introduce his partner today, Christina Pierce.
Thank you so much, Hutch, for that warm welcome. I appreciate it. And thank you all for being here, stepping into Black Professionals Month, a very important and valuable, what we hope to be a mainstay every year happening and taking place and really, supporting and living into the mission. So very excited to be here and to share with you all. And with me, we've got Christina Pierce. I'm so excited for Christina Pierce because I had always been, behind the scenes into my meditation and into, martial arts and yoga, etc., but not really anything that was up front and facing. And Christina is a good friend of mine, and we kind of connected through what I would call a very small Black mindfulness community in Miami, and became fast friends. But Christina is super talented and has been a professor at yoga studies at Pratt University, a guided meditation expert, a mindset coach, a certified breathwork and sound healing. I know you all have heard of sound healing and how powerful that is. Christina's been doing this for quite some time. She also is a certified breathwork coach that mixes those two modalities together. She's been serving over 40 businesses, schools, and nonprofits in the wellness culture and in the workplace. She's also the founding teacher at Modern Home, which is a very expansive community that started here in Miami and now is a global community. And her clients range from Capital One Bank, BET Networks, to the Edition Hotel. She's previously served as the wellness director at the Center for Social Change, so always been rooted in community, still living into her divinity and her breath work and spirituality, but always rooted in the community and impact. And as a community leader and the programs, she focuses also on the underserved. Her and I became thick as thieves with this passion and commitment to have social impact while we also educate the masses on wellness and especially mindfulness, because we see that as access to everything that makes life worth living. And as Chief Wellness Officer for Refreshment, which is a new entity that we started as partners about a year ago now and just launched, Christina actually heads up she's the Chief Wellness Officer and develops programs for both corporate wellness as well as individual and personal and private mindfulness and wellness experiences. So excited to have her here, share her wealth of knowledge and her goddess divine divinity and wisdom with all of us. So with that being said, I'd love to kind of jump into our conversation for today, if that's all right with you, Hutch. Can we jump in? All right. So I'll turn it over to Christina, who will open up. And today our goal is to really take you through a series of exercises where not only are we speaking, but we're taking you to a mindful practice. So we'll let Christina get started with that.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me? You can all. Awesome. Hi, everyone. I'm so glad to be here. Loving the title of this topic today, Born to Breathe, because that's what we're all born to do. And a big part of being here and being present is knowing that our breath is a tool and that we actually have so many tools that can help us with our mental health, with our physical health, and in times of change, because we are going through some major times of change. And it's important to recognize these tools as daily practices that can help us with self-care. So I want to start today just talking about mindfulness. And I know it's a buzzword that kind of is all over the place, but just understanding what it means to be present and aware with yourself. So I'm going to say that again. Be present and aware with yourself. So let's just start off by taking 3 deep breaths. So everyone, wherever you are, if you're listening to this, have this pleasurable moment for yourself where you can just take 3 wonderful, conscious breaths. Go for it. Deep inhale. And you know, it's that simple. It's just pausing and taking a moment to recognize where you are and recognize the power that you have in the present moment. So mindfulness is all about starting from this place of awareness and allowing this awareness to really take us more into the present moment and recognize exactly what's happening now. Because what's happening now is truly the most important part of being here, right? What's happening now. So I love talking about different ways that we can pay attention and start to notice where our attention is going. And oftentimes people will say to me, like, becoming aware of your thoughts can sometimes be very, very challenging for some people. And it is a process of noticing when you're getting distracted, noticing whether your thoughts are inspired thoughts, noticing whether your thoughts are shadow thoughts, and just getting to a place of being in that witness place where you can not be identified with the content that you're noticing. So you can be in any place. You don't have to be meditating to have a mindfulness practice. You can be in the kitchen cooking and start to notice and become aware of your thoughts, whether they are negative thoughts, whether they are positive thoughts, and taking that awareness from a place of non-judgment and not judging the thoughts as good or bad, but being able to witness the thoughts. So we can practice mindfulness all day long. We can practice mindfulness how we're communicating with others. We can practice in this present moment. And so oftentimes people are thinking that meditation and mindfulness is, you can only practice mindfulness when you meditate, and that's not true. We can practice mindfulness in every aspect of our life, in everything that we do. So I would like to also go into a little bit about meditation, because meditation also changes our brain. So when we actually take the time to sit in meditation as a practice, we are allowing many beautiful things to happen, but one of them is that it actually physically changes the shape and the size of our brain, which is really amazing. And studies have shown that people who meditate regularly are much better at organizing their time. They're better at managing unexpected circumstances that come up. So being able to use meditation as a practice actually allows for the neuroplasticity of the brain to expand. And it's literally shaping our brain when we take the time to meditate and practice. So I want to try mindfulness practice with you really quickly. This is called the 5-4-3-2-1 method. And it's very simple, but if you're ever feeling anxiety, you can do this and quickly have an opportunity to become mindful and present. So I just want you to look around you and identify 5 things that you see that are the color blue. So 5 things that you see around you, just identifying the color blue around you, 5 things that you see. Just take a quick count. 5 things that you see. And then we're going to go into hearing. So just closing your eyes for a quick moment and listen for 4 things that you can hear. 4 things that you can hear, 4 different things. All right. And now we're going to touch 3 different things that you can touch. So 3 different textures around you. It could be the table, could be your pants. Just noticing the difference between those 3 things that you can touch. And then 2 things that you can smell. So 2 things, it could be your hair, your hand, just noticing around you the air. 2 things that you can smell. And 1 taste you can taste on your tongue. 1 taste that you can taste on your tongue. So that is a practice of mindfulness. That is bringing you into your senses and bringing you to the present moment. And in our meditation, we have the ability to really start to drop into our body and become aware of our thoughts, our feelings, and our sensations. And what's so powerful about talking about mindfulness when you connect this to the breath is that the breath is the cord. I like to think of it as the umbilical cord to us and the universe, the present awareness of all things around us. So it's not just what's also happening in the body, which Abdul will talk about, but it's also how we connect with our world, with our space. So that's why when we're feeling really anxious, or if somebody's panicking, the first thing you'll tell them to do is take a deep breath, because the breath is always going to bring us back to the present moment. This is how powerful it is. And when we bring all our attention and our awareness and our focus on the breath, we access the power of what's true and what's real and what's now. So before we go into transitioning into what Abdul talks about, let's just take another deep breath. And this time I want you to bring your full awareness. We'll just do one deep breath, your full awareness to everything that's happening in your body within that one deep breath. Okay, let's go for it. Deep inhale. And releasing on the exhale. All right, thank you, Abdul.
All right. Thank you all for your patience. I just want to forewarn, I'm having a little bit of internet issues, some challenges, so I'm hoping that I won't get disconnected.
Okay, I'm not sure if Abdul is, oh, here he comes. Okay.
But it's one of those things, that people don't often pay attention to. And when we look at mindfulness and what mindfulness really is, mindfulness is just a matter of being aware of what's actually happening. Because most of us spend our time either thinking about things that have happened in the past or things that are about to happen in the future. And this sets us up in a state of typically frustration, anxiety, depression, etc. And so these are the things that when we actually speak about mindfulness and being aware, it's just as simple as being aware of the breath that you're inhaling in and your exhale out. And when you take all of your attention away from things that your mind may be thinking about, like, oh, the technology is messed up right now and I'm breaking down and oh, it could be frustrating, etc. What it does is it allows you to simply just take a deep breath and practice some equanimity, which allows you to just be with whatever is there and know that it's the way it's supposed to be. That connection to the breath, when you just focus on inhale and exhale, inhale and exhale, you can automatically feel the difference. But now let's just talk about the actual science behind it. Because a lot of times when you talk about mindfulness, people think about spirituality and yoga and these things that they may not feel so connected to. And I know especially a lot of us black folk, we are very faith-based and we believe in religion, and this is a core element of us. And sometimes when people start talking about spirituality, it seems like it's a conflict in that faith. And I want to just open up our hearts and our minds to embrace that there is no difference between your faith in your creator, whoever you choose that to be, and faith in yourself. And the breathing connects you to that belief. And so the science behind it is that actually when you're breathing in and out, what you're really doing is you're manipulating the gases that are in your blood. Yeah, manipulating gases that are in your blood. The oxygen levels, the CO2 that's in your blood. And so when you breathe fast, which typically when you get excited, someone scares you, you're in what typically you hear referred to as fight or flight, right? Versus rest and digest. And that's typically what you'll most commonly hear as it relates to your nervous system and these two major states of the nervous system, which are directly manipulated by the way you breathe. And so again, we're born to breathe. Your body is born to regulate. When someone jumps out and scares you, you right? Something takes place at that moment. And what's happening is that you're shifting your nervous system into either fight or flight. Now, the ability to manipulate your nervous system by simply breathing allows you to have a level of control that you wouldn't have otherwise. That level of control transcends not only in the way that you're dealing with things like perhaps my technology right now at the worst time possible, or whether it's in relationship to your work. Oftentimes you're grinding. You hear this society right now and culture really is pushing on the grind, always keep on the grind, hustle, 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 and all of that kind of stuff. And actually that puts your nervous system in a state of constant stress. It's actually not good for your productivity, not good for longevity, not good for everything that you're supposed to be hustling for. So it's so important that as we look at business and entrepreneurship and taking on, who we are inside of that as African Americans, that we understand not just this principle or this concept of mindfulness, but we understand the science behind why mindfulness is so important as a tool for us to regulate how we live our day. Really when you're looking at, if you thought and paid attention to how you breathe in and out on a daily basis, that's the one thing that you do more than anything else. Even when you're sleeping, you're breathing. Without that, you die. Yet and still, we don't spend time, energy, and focus understanding breath and how that has a direct impact on our health, on anxiety and depression, on the way that we experience life in general, on the way that we experience ourselves, on our weight, on our ability to heal. When you think about the ability to shift and expel CO2, you all know when you're on an airplane and then all of a sudden something happens and it pops out and you have to put in the bag and start breathing, right? It's not because of a loss of oxygen. This is because you're expelling something and you're losing CO2, which allows you to have less ability to actually absorb the oxygen that's in your blood. So this is deep right here. When you understand that manipulating it is just manipulating gases. And so oftentimes you may feel like you're starved for oxygen, but what's really happening is that there's not enough CO2 present in order to absorb the oxygen in your blood so that you can actually feel like you're calm and in a great space. So I know I just threw a lot about science and how that actually is really breathing, is manipulating the gas levels within your blood and manipulating your nervous system, whether you're going for parasympathetic nervous system to your sympathetic nervous system, your fight or flight or your rest and digest. The way you apply and approach someone in relationship to work is also in that space. Now, you all have been in situations where you get upset at work, you get an email that someone said, or someone steals an idea from you right in front of everybody and takes the credit, or in our situation, oftentimes, darn well that as a black person in that position, you're overqualified, you've been busting your butt, etc., only to get skipped by someone who doesn't look like you or may not be as qualified as you. How do you deal with that when you know that oftentimes it could be something that's based on your race and who you are, right? So when you're able to bring a level of mindfulness to it before you react to a situation that you may be caught in, it allows you so much more space to have yourself in a calm place where you're leveraging both the right and left parts of your brain, the creative part of your brain as well as your logical part of your brain, right? And then you can operate from a holistic place, which is a space and place that we call mindfulness, where you're in the present moment and not thinking about things in the past or worrying about things that have not happened yet. And so breath work is the foundation of having that connection to mindfulness and awareness. And so I want to stop there as I kind of break down overall mindfulness and connection to breath and the body and why it's so important to really understand that all day long your body is doing things in the background. But when you bring a level of consciousness and intention to the way that you're breathing and understanding that when you're breathing, it allows you to calm yourself to a space and place to be powerful versus reactive, this makes all the difference in a work environment, especially as it relates to your relationships and how you relate to yourself and who you're being when you show up. And so I want to take you through just the few basic breathing exercises or modalities or categories, I should say, of breath work that you can use depending on where you are in life, right? And so to make it easy, the way I learned in my breathwork certification, they categorize breathing in a few main categories. The first category we're going to talk about is coffee breathing. And coffee breathing is exactly what it sounds like. It's going to be some type of breathing that kind of gets you energized and gets you pumped up. So this breathing is breathing that you want to apply early in the morning, or when you're about to go to the gym, or when you're about to go in the boardroom and handle some business and you want to have a little bit of energy, or if you're feeling a little sluggish in the day and you want to get a little pep. And it's called coffee breathing. And I won't take us through that full exercise. I'll only just give you something to take away. And some of you who have practiced yoga have heard of it before, where you oftentimes hear it as fire breathing, where it's a series of expelling, and you come from the pit in the diaphragm and you blast that out. That's in the category of coffee breathing. What you're really doing is you're trying to breathe a certain amount of times within a minute, right? You're speeding up that, and that stimulates and it shifts you into the nervous system that provides that access. And then there's the next category, which is water, and it's more balanced. So sometimes when you want to you're about to go and have a meeting with your team, right? And you need to talk about strategy. You want to be cool, but you've been dealing with the phone and kind of battling with something, or you got something going on at home, but then you got to go to the work and deal with it. So this is a breathing technique that kind of sets you tone. It doesn't get you, anxious, and it doesn't slow you down. It's kind of this nice, even keel that oftentimes you like when leaders, when you have a leader that kind of steps into the room and no matter what's going on, they're calm and they're cool and they're kind of like, but they also are handling things, right? They're very alert and very intentional. And so this water breath technique is one that is very good for that. And it's a balanced breathing technique where you typically are breathing in an even inhalation, and even exhalation. And then the third category is called whiskey category, which is typically reserved when you want to calm down at night, right? You want to kind of take yourself gentle. You're getting ready for bed. It's kind of, and that's why they call it whiskey breathing. It might put you out. You're gonna be on the couch, just kind of chilled out and relaxed, which is also, shifts you into your nervous system, into your nervous system, which actually is good for the digestive state as well. So oftentimes when you're eating something, after you eat, you got some stuff in your belly, it might be good to take about 5 or 6 minutes and just calm down your breathing. And in your whiskey breathing techniques, you want to slow down the amount of breaths that you're doing per minute, right? So for example, you may want to inhale for a count that's like an 8 count inhale, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So taking that nice deep inhale like Christina was taking us through at the beginning, and then exhaling as slow as you can, and kind of doing that, and that kind of slows you down, and it really gets you into a relaxed state of mood, and it also increases the digestion. So this is extremely good for those of you who might experience some tummy issues or challenges after you eat. You might want to try to do that. And so I wanted to just share, as I close this section, with just one short breathing technique that we call triangle breathing technique. Triangle. And the reason why we call it triangle is you're going to inhale for a count of 4, you're going to hold for a count of 4, and then exhale for a count of 4. All right? And you're going to inhale for a count of 4, you're going to hold for a count of 4, and then exhale for a count of 4. All right? So I'm going to go ahead and do the count so that you don't have to do the count while we do it. And I'm going to set my timer, and we're just going to take a few minutes now to practice that breath. that breathing exercise called triangle breathing exercise. I highly recommend this, especially in the workplace. If you're going to prepare yourself to go in and deal with something, it's a way that you can quickly just get present and balanced. Present and balanced and aware. And always remember that your power, there's only but certain things that you can control. A lot of people spend all their time worrying about things they cannot control. We live in a world where mindfulness and awareness is all about things that you can control. And so
I don't know if we lost him for a moment.
Yeah, it looked like he's definitely frozen up. Can you walk us through that breathing, that triangle we
Yeah.
were just talking?
Yeah, I sure can. So let's do it all together so we get some time to do this. So take a deep inhale. You're going to inhale, hold the breath, and exhale. So I started to bring them through it, Abdul. All right. So we're going to do let's do a 5 count for the triangle breath. Okay. So starting from the beginning, take a nice deep inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. One more time. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and just notice. And you can slowly open your eyes. I don't know if Abdul, you wanted to finish off there? You wanted to say anything else?
sure. I was just going to say thank you so much, Christina, for jumping in and really being an awesome partner in this. And for all of you for being patient as we work through this technology. And all I wanted to say was that this is something, the triangle breath is just a tool I wanted to offer. I think it's something that's extremely valuable. And as a baseline to get started with breath work, you can use that to balance whether you're going into the workplace and you're dealing with any of the challenges that you have. And with that said, I want to hand it over to Christina, who can take us through some additional thoughts and mindfulness applications in the workplace.
Awesome. So I just wanted to thank you, Abdul. That was awesome, just giving us an understanding about the breath. And I just wanted to say that remember that we hold our breath in the midst of change and in the midst of learning something new is often what we do. And it's a natural thing that we do. But again, the tool of mindfulness is to bring our awareness to when we're doing that, when we're holding our breath. And holding the breath when you're doing a practice like this one, triangle breath, what's so powerful about it is that it doesn't matter how many counts you give. You can do 1, 2, 3, 4. I was going a little slow, but you could do 1, 2, 3, 4, hold 2, 3, 4, exhale 2, 3, 4. Is that you're almost drawing this triangle with your count. So your count can be whatever you want it to be. If you slow it down, it's going to slow your heart rate down. It's going to calm you down. If you go a little faster, that works too. So it's up to you. And I just wanted to say in closing about the breath is that there's a lot of great reasons why we want to use our breath as a tool. The breath detoxifies and releases toxins. About 70% of the toxins that is released from our body is released through the breath. Breathing also releases tension from our muscles. So when we're tense, we contract the muscles. We want to be able to have fluid muscles. So, fluid can move through our bodies freely, and we can move and we can think. So we want to be able to use the breath to release tension. Breathing also helps to bring clarity to the mind, which we can all see from just a few little practices today. You might even notice how much more clear you might be able to think. And breathing relieves emotional problems and things that come up emotionally, unexpressed emotions. It helps the body to release endorphins, so we feel a little bit better. And breathing also, lastly, breathing relieves pain. So, anytime you're feeling some any pain in your body, even in yoga, we breathe through the pain. We breathe into it. We allow the breath to come into the pain. We don't want to hold our breath because that really stops the healing from happening. So the breath is medicine. The breath is a tool and an opportunity for us to remember the power that we have to take care of ourselves and connect with our environment around us. So that's all I wanted to say today. I hope everybody is going to continue to use these practices to help them, which is really important. And we are all one. We are breathing the same air. So we have to be mindful of the air that we share and mindful of how to use the breath to keep us grounded when things are changing and moving around as they do. So my dear partner, Abdul, any last thoughts? I think we have you back here now.
Yes, no, that was wonderful. I really wanted to just kind of hear if there were any questions that anyone had about breath work and or meditation and mindfulness, and how perhaps if there's something that you're dealing with in your life, whether it's work related or not, that we could perhaps offer some some insight on and some perspective around how to move through that mindfully.
My question is about tapping. Do y'all help me? Is that, I know it's part of mindfulness because we just came off a retreat. I did a retreat in Mexico, and I've never done yoga, but I respect people now that do yoga. Can I just say that? I thought yoga was a joke and for sissies. It is not. I just want to make that clear. I found parts of my body I never knew I had. So anyway, but my thing was we learned tapping. So how is tap help me with that? Because I can tell by your smile on your face that y'all are aware of it. So help me with that piece.
You're on mute, Christina.
Go ahead first.
No, I would like for you to,
Okay.
This is all you.
So I'm actually really inspired by tapping. I haven't studied it myself,
Okay.
but I've done it to myself. I've had my coach does it with me. I think it's incredibly profound what it's actually doing, because I believe in holistic practices like that help us to let go of limiting beliefs and be present. And so I strongly recommend that people explore it. I don't want to talk on it. I can just talk from a place of experience and say that I was amazed by how it took me from a place of overwhelm into a very calm place of being present and like moving through some emotional stuff. So I'm all for it. That's
Thank you. Thank you. Because that's kind of where I went with it. And I said, whoa, what is it? Because of the background and stuff, but it worked. It literally worked. And so that's why I was wondering. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah, thank you for asking, because it's great.
Hi, this is Pauline. Thank you both so much. This was a really great break for my day and what has been a stressful week. But my question comes with how does one settle the mind, right? So if we're working towards this mindfulness and breathing, right? Should I be breathing first to get to be more mindful? You know, is it trying to, you know, become aware of those thoughts that then will enable me to know how to breathe? So I'm just trying to assess what comes first, the chicken or the egg here for me, because I know I do struggle with a racing mind, right? So it's how does one calm the mind?
That's a great question. I can take this one, and then Christina, I know you've got some stuff to add to it as well. Pauline, the first thing I would say is that there is no wrong way to mindfulness. And that's one of the biggest hurdles and challenges that I think most people face when they get into either a meditation practice or approach mindfulness for the first time, is that they put a lot of thinking into it. And I just want to share that mindfulness is, when I know you can't probably remember the exact moment, but when you were a child, you didn't care about anything. You just were there and you were feeling the vibe. No one had to.
We lost him again.
Oh, I'm so sorry. He keeps getting cut off in his
At those amazing moments.
So I will just continue until he comes back. I will say that I do want to let him finish his thought on that, but I will say that you know, it is, the first thing is that you're not trying to do anything, right? You're not trying, but there is some effort that comes into taking some time to notice. So when we did the practice earlier and we did the 5 senses, you know, this is what's powerful about being human, is that we can shift our attention anywhere that we want to at any given time. If I tell you right now that you can, you know, to focus on your big toe, like put all your attention and awareness on your big toe. Sorry, Abdul, we know you keep getting cut off right in your moment of, but we're here with you.
So this is one of those moments where you have to practice the breathing, right? Like I have to keep that face and just kind of, like, I felt myself getting tight. Seriously, I'm being real. This is perfect for where we are right now. You know, this right now could be very frustrating for me. And as I feel it, like one time I was cool, and then the second time I'm like, all right, I have to now I'm just kind of like, oh. So to actually just take a moment and just be with it and accept it and breathe in, and I feel like in my body, what we were talking about earlier, awareness is that connection, Pauline. Like for me, I don't have to think about shutting my mind down. I just breathe in and I feel myself, right? And if you focus your mind on just the breath, I would start there. A lot of times it's hard to think about trying to shut your mind down or stop your mind from doing what the mind is actually built to do. The mind is a machine. It's the most powerful machine known, right, on the planet. So give it a task. You are in control of your mind. Mindfulness is understanding that your mind and body is there for you. It doesn't run you. And part of awareness is saying, hey, mind, right now, Pauline is choosing to have you focus on inhale through the nose and exhale through the nose. And all your mind should be thinking about when it flirts to whatever is happening tomorrow or whatever you may have been anxious about, or wherever the mind goes, that's just natural. You're not trying to stop the mind from doing what the mind is programmed to do. What this is about is it's about exercising the muscle that's associated with control over the mind and the body. And what connects the mind and the body is the breath. That's the key. What connects the mind and the body is the breath. And so mindfulness in and of itself is you just putting your attention and intention into the exercise of simply breathing in and out, in and out, and that's all. And when you start there, everything else opens and unfolds to you, because mindfulness and that practice in itself is simply your daily exercise of wherever your mind is. Sometimes I go to sit and meditate and my mind is all over the place. Like seriously, 15 minutes, I'm like, and I've been meditating for 20 years. and doing this work. And then other times, I'm so zened out, I'm there for like an hour, I'm in the deepest places, I'm coming up with strategies and business that I come out of it and it's like, I come out and I'm just like, oh my God, I feel like I'm floating on air, I can't even talk to anyone for an hour. So it's all your individual experience, and it's perfect the way that it unfolds, Pauline. Was that helpful?
Oh, extremely. Thank you both. Really, thank you both. Can put it into practice most immediately.
Awesome.
I want to add to that in that the practice that we did earlier and how we take our mind and focus our attention. Really quickly is one, we are meant to think. So if you sit and you find that you're being bombarded by all these thoughts, it's okay because the mind has to process information. We get a lot of information coming at us all day long. We need moments where we can allow the mind to let it process, but if we're using the practice of the breath, if the practice of the meditation is to focus on the breath for 10 minutes, it is the effort that you put into it is just recognizing when the thoughts are moving all over the place and bringing yourself back to bringing your awareness back to your breath, because that's the power you have as a human being. You get to make choices where you put your attention. You get to decide, is this worth my attention to put it over here? Do I need to, am I just going to let myself follow that thought? Or am I going to bring it back to the practice? And that's all that meditation really is, because literally you bringing your attention from what am I going to eat today back to the breath, to why did he say that to me, back to the breath, is the practice that actually creates new neural pathways in the brain. So the more you sit and you take time to practice, you are training the brain, you are changing the shape, the size, you are changing the brain just by having a practice of meditation. So just to connect it back to your question, Pauline, don't try so hard, but there is some effort, and the effort is to keep it simple, come back to the breath, use that as your practice, and give yourself a time. I think it's very important to say, sometimes it's okay to be like, I just need a second and take that second. But sometimes you got to put it on your clock, on your phone or wherever, and say, for 5 minutes, I am just going to breathe and I'm going to sit. And you tell the mind and the body what you're going to do. You tell it what you're going to do so that it doesn't just go wander off in autopilot. So
Wonderful. Thank you.
Well, Christina and Abdul, this has really been fantastic. As I mentioned earlier about the Stephen Covey example about sharpening the saw, all too often that saw that we use is ourselves, the things that we do, the work that we do, and so on. And many times we don't take time to make sure that we're at our best and that we are, recovering and we're refreshing and we're resting, and those things that help us to be able to be at our optimum as we move forward. And if we don't, that saw gets dull. And when the saw gets dull, it doesn't cut as well, it takes longer to cut. And so we think that we don't have time to stop and breathe, stop and think, stop and meditate, think, and so on. But actually, we don't have time not to do that. And so I thank you guys for giving us some very important insights to that. I've become more conscious of my breathing from a simple thing, and that's my Apple Watch. That thing goes off, multiple times a day. And I'm not going to sit here and say I stop and breathe every time it goes off. That would not be truthful. But I have become mindful of it, and I have taken time at different times when it goes off. Say, hey, and I'm getting more and more conscious of like when that does happen, stop and breathe, because I do see the value and the benefit of it. So thank you guys so much. And taking some of the things away, in terms of thinking that you got to be perfect at doing this thing. If you can't meditate and have your mind clear in the first 5 minutes, it means that you're probably not doing it right. And Abdul, I can imagine all the stuff that you got going on, the ideas, the creativity, in your head, the ideation that you're doing every day. That probably takes you 15 minutes just to shut it down, but then another 15 minutes to be able to meditate. So I think we may share some of that. But thank you guys so much for being here, being a part of Black Professionals Month. And this really is about helping Black professionals to be able to step up, stand out, and break through. And breaking through many times is breaking through our own barriers, our own self-limiting practices, as well as beliefs that we have that don't allow us to optimize all of the potential and the God-given gifts and talents that we have. So thank you so much for helping to unlock some of that within us and give us some tools to be our best selves.
Thank you, Hutch. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you for having us.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys. Connie, it's all yours. And we'll see you all later. Be sure to come back to learn how to think and grow rich with Dr. Dennis Kimbrough at 5 o'clock. And then we will be, we're winding it down. So talk to you soon. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Amazing. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Johnny.